Hello, my name's Chris Page, and I'm your guide through this short film exploring the past, present and future of Arawak Walton Housing Association. Behind me is the Nello James Centre in Whalley Range. This was a centre that opened in 1967 in the Walton Cottages building. Its founders were brought here to protest against police brutality and the discrimination they were facing. And they put on a lot of activities. They had a day nursery, advice centres, and even a free university. And most popular of all was the regular dance nights and social activities. The political radicalism behind the centre was expressed in the name of the centre, Nello James. This was after C.L.R. James, the famous socialist intellectual from Jamaica, who I knew as the cricket correspondent with The Guardian. But most importantly for our story, this was the place where Walton Housing Association was born, and by 1990 had 65 properties in and around Whalley Range that serve the purposes of the educational trust. And it was in this unassuming house that a group of friends led by the formidable Louise Dakakodia thought of the idea of Arawak Housing Association, with the dream of building housing for the elderly African Caribbean community. And their first dream was realised in Bougainvillea Gardens. This was followed shortly after by Antilles Close, and Louise went on to lead and play an active part in the association for the next 23 years, until her untimely death in 2008. I took the liberty of asking her successor, Andy Forbes, for a few thoughts on Louise's contribution.
She knew everybody, and she always had time for everyone. She was committed to working with all communities. English, Asian, whoever could help. Tireless. I mean, I don't know how she did it. She was up at 5 in the morning. She had school-aged children, you know. She was tireless. She worked from dawn till dusk, literally. You know, Louise was a remarkable person. And she set up not just Arawak, but a number of other initiatives without which, you know, the community would have been a lot worse off. Yeah. But she poured her heart and soul into it. She put everything into it, and her integrity and her work ethic, and the fact she never asked anybody to do what she wouldn't be prepared to do herself, you know.
By 1994, Arawak and Walton Housing Associations had between them amassed around 200 properties and decided to merge under Louise's inspirational leadership. The association is a BME association. That means it works to promote the development of diverse, tolerant neighbourhoods. To that end, many of the buildings have been named after inspirational political figures. To that end, I give you Nelson Mandela Court in the heart of Whalley Range.
Man like Malcolm X, Patrice Lumumba, Mary Seacole, Martin Luther King, Bob Marley.
On Catesby Road in Whalley Range, we find Mary Seacole Gardens. Mary Seacole was a nurse who worked independently behind the lines in the Crimean War. She set up a hospital to treat injured soldiers. On returning back to London, she wrote her autobiography and was the first black woman to be published in Britain in 1857.
Marley, Rosa Parks, Taras Bulba, Genghis Khan, Young Mullah, Marcus Garvey, Jesse Owens, Dignitary, Princes.
Also in Whalley Range, here's Marcus Garvey Court, named after the Jamaican political leader, publisher, journalist and orator who founded the Africa Communities League in the 1920s, whose motto was, "Let justice be done to all mankind, realising that if the strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path of man, but with love, faith and charity towards all, reign of peace and plenty will be heralded into the world, and the generations of men shall be called blessed." Amen to that, although we might add women as well.
Take a bow wow wow. Bonafide. Man like Malcolm X.
Whalley Range, since the outset, has been the heartland for the association and now has 156 properties in the area. And here is a selection of just a few.
Shites music.
The association has always been committed to and optimistic about investing in Moss Side. It now has 135 properties in Moss Side. However, there are two very distinct sides to Moss Side. There's Old Moss Side with these tight-knit terraced houses and rows of shops, and New Moss Side that is more leafy, bright and, well, new. Also in Moss Side is Kahina Court. When the association lost one of its most valued staff members, Wilberforce Johnson, in 1994, he was honoured by a plaque on this building. We're all familiar with the plight of elderly people in this country. As soon as you turn 55, you get shunted off some colourless, characterless building with long corridors that all look the same and smell like last week's chip fat. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Look at the shabby chic hotels for the mature metropolitan Mancunians that Arawak Walton Housing Association has been developing over the last few years. The association is always looking to see where it can invest to pursue its aims of providing good quality, affordable homes in areas that are popular with BME communities. We've recently bought properties in Moston because we're aware that this is becoming increasingly popular with BME communities, particularly from Africa.
Shites music.
Okay, that's all we have time for now. Hope you've enjoyed your whistle-stop tour through Arawak Walton places. There's much more to see, but from now, from sunny Cheetham Hill, it's goodbye from me, Chris Page.
And from a sunny Hardwick, this is Dave Williams. Goodbye.